Chapter 6. Now let's lay the bricks. We will move from the crocheting to the laying down of the bricks. Now, I am at the stage where I am about to give you a dose of the red pill. Not many have already liked what I have said in the previous chapters, but I will say that almost none will like what I'm about to say. You see, the Black Lives Matter and the white supremacy movements both point fingers at each other. But if truth be told, the white race has been the catalyst for the most vicious system that we are currently living in. Their system can only be compared to hell, and if this is not hell, then I certainly do not want to see hell. I have never appreciated this system, and I am sure that I can speak for my other black brothers and sisters who were never sellouts. Saying that, the black lives have not been all innocent, and in time I shall show just that. The Capitol Insurrection and Black Lives Matter movement have come about due to insecurity, injustice, and all that have come about through the implementations of evil that have been born out of the quest for power and control. The one thing that must be stated is that the love of money has always been the source of this evil. The founder of Black Lives Matter is now a millionaire. I wonder who paid her, or where did all of that sudden wealth come from? How is it that she came out unscathed and worse living amongst the rich, white folks now? The truth, though, is that most of us already know that the evil the white system has created, but too often we are either not aware or we have chosen to ignore the other side of darkness. Not today. I am sorry, but I will start with my own brothers here, because like it or not, our black brothers do have a lot to answer for when it comes to where we are today. Sure, there are very noble black brothers and sisters when it comes to fighting for their own black brothers and sisters. In fact, these black brothers and sisters will die for our cause to free and help another brother and sister. The problem, though, is that there are few of them. Few of them such as Harriet Tubman. Fred Hampton is another whom I would vouch for as a sincere civil rights leader who could never be described as a sellout, and to me, the hero for his people. The truth of the matter is that most of the sincere heroes you will never know because they worked underground without detections. If I am to be true, I find it difficult to name anyone other than Harriet Tubman because many who appear to be fighting for our cause behind closed doors are nothing but sellouts. When you see them with the abundant wealth and monuments or statues being built of them, those are sometimes the signs of them being sellouts. You see, they are the heroes to that 1% because they have done their jobs behind closed curtains to sell us out for 30 pieces of silver. They are the ones who you will see on television being made into gods and what we currently call celebrities. The few who are fighting for the freedom of humans, be it blacks or whites, because when you fight for freedom of blacks, you are indirectly helping to set other nations free. But these few are the ones you hear little about, or nothing from. You hear nothing from them because they are working quietly, or they are murdered on a daily basis. Let us focus on the black sellouts, one by one. Black sellouts, such as the overrated hip-hop singers and rappers, have been on hire for decades to send out the destructive messages to the same media owned by the same historical enemies to promote drugs, perverted sexual behavior that has negatively changed the position of black males and females' responsibilities. And not to forget the increase of crime, including murdering our own race. This betrayal by our own has been further perpetrated with black images that show with the bling-bling of chains, gems, expensive cars, and houses that ultimately go into the pockets of the enemies, who laugh at our demise and destruction. Now not to be outdone by the dancehall kings and queens who have sexually and violently distorted the minds of children and young adults. It has become such a household now that young recruits in their millions line up to achieve or maintain the new wealth. The music is then transported to some of these black islands and countries. Being the capital murder countries of the world, one of them with less than 3 million people, but per capita, the murder capital of the world. Disgraceful, I say. and the ones with blood on their hands are not easily detectable as those who pulled the triggers. The cycle continues like a never-ending carousel. In the interim, the influx of cocaine and heroin floods Black communities, as if it were the era of Ronald Reagan deliberately drowning the said communities with enemies' killer drugs. If a Black leader such as Martin Luther King dares to raise his head up to prevent this, like a shot marker, his brain is targeted and his blood splattered. It is no wonder that the same enemies invest billions more in the actors, singers, and athletes to showcase their advantage to destroy us to completion. It is no wonder that they have upped their game to include games and social media to distract us further, and in the event, destroy us all. The problem here, though, is that the same technology is also being used to make more and more like-minded people, regardless of race and class, meet up and subsequently play it against the core of their aims and objectives. Do not get it twisted. Because they are very much aware that we are not defined by our race nor our wealth. They are the ones who have created that illusion for us through their elaborate divide and rule schemes. Consequently, they devised a plan to put us in a corner using that same technology to track and trap us. They have had that in the pipeline for centuries. They now believe that this is the time to have us locked and keyed, and boy have they got us all. The other sellout has been the church. You got that right, the church. I've said it before, but I shall reiterate because they have been the biggest sellouts against Black people. Do not forget that when the slave master branded Blacks on their backs, forehead, and anywhere as they pleased, the brand on their bodies marked C of E, Church of England, because they invested and owned slaves. The Catholic Church, of course, was the backbone of the slave trade. I find it astounding that our Black pastors have not only picked up from where these traditional churches continued, but have gone to a more sinister route of slavery of their Black brothers and sisters. Bleeding their Black parishioners out of their hard-earned money is slavery because they are working for them with nothing in return for the community's development. How often would you find these pastors speaking against the rappers, hip-hop singers, dancehall songs, fathers and mothers who neglect their children by their reckless behaviors? The praise that they are faced with by society at large. I could go on. Most of these pastors only use God's name in vain to make money. But now, their time is up. The 400 years is up. Look at them now. They cannot go into the massive buildings and steal from a massive audience. Lockdown has been doing so well against them, and rightly so. Where shall they run now? Because there's a lot on their conscience as they reflect. But it is too late now, and if they think it is bad yet, you wait and see as the situation worsens. The church and politics have almost become one these days. That has become difficult to separate the two. All these were all products of a system by the children of Esau to control us, and they succeeded. But their time is up, and they know it. We will know it as well, because the times are changing, and it's affecting everyone. Some will probably die without understanding the changes. But for the most part, no matter how slow you are, you will realize that the white ruler's time is up. It is Jacob's time now, so everyone who were our enemies, Black, white, or Asians, will have to flee. As for our own who have betrayed us, a double portion of consequences awaits you.